There are certain songs that never age, songs that feel just as powerful the first time you hear them as they do decades later. For me, one of those songs has always been Caravan of Love. I remember hearing it as a kid, not fully understanding the lyrics, but feeling something warm and peaceful every time it played. And now, as an adult, I can still listen to that song all day long without getting tired of it. It carries a positive message, a message of unity, love, and brotherhood. And behind that song was a man who never truly got the recognition he deserved, Chris Jasper. Chris Jasper was more than just a keyboardist or songwriter. He was the architect of the Isley Brothers' most iconic sound, a musical genius who quietly shaped generations of soul, funk, R&B, and even hip-hop, while the world mostly focused on the voices at the front of the stage. Chris wrote, composed, arranged, mixed, and produced the musical foundation for classics like For the Love of You, Footsteps in the Dark, Between the Sheets, At Your Best You Are Love, Fight the Power, and so many more. These songs didn't just top charts, they became part of culture, endlessly sampled and reimagined by artists across hip-hop and R&B. Chris Jasper was born on December 30th, 1951 in Cincinnati, Ohio. He was the youngest of 7 children, raised in a deeply musical household. His mother, Elizabeth, plays the piano, and his uncle was a first violinist for the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra. Music wasn't just entertainment in that house, it was part of daily life. By the age of 7, Chris could play songs by ear after hearing them on the radio. His mother immediately realized he was gifted and made sure he learned to read music properly, sending him to piano lessons at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. As he grew, he absorbed everything. He studied classical composers like Beethoven, Mozart, and Gershwin, while also falling in love with artists like Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, Jackie Wilson, and James Brown. What made Chris special was his ability to blend worlds, classical harmony, jazz structure, and soul emotion into one sound. And here's where destiny stepped in. On the very same street where Chris grew up, just a few houses away, lived the Isley Brothers. Ronald, Rudolph, and O'Kelly Isley were older, but Chris became close with their younger brothers, Ernie and Marvin Isley, who were closer to his age. At just 3 years old, Chris met the Isley family, long before anyone knew history was being written. Later, Chris's older sister Elaine married Rudolph Isley, officially making Chris part of the family. When the Isleys moved to New York and later settled in Teaneck, New Jersey after launching Teaneck Records, Chris spent summers visiting them. During this time, he formed a trio with Ernie and Marvin Isley called the Jazzmen Trio, playing local events, churches, and school shows. Chris on piano, Ernie on drums, Marvin on bass. The foundation was already there. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, the Isley Brothers were already stars, with hits like Shout, Twist and Shout, This Old Heart of Mine, and Who's That Lady? But when Chris, Ernie, and Marvin began contributing to albums like The Brothers Isley and Givin' It Back, everything changed. They were teenagers, barely 15 or 16 years old, yet already shaping the band's future. Chris wrote his first Isley Brothers song, Love Put Me on the Corner, and soon the group officially expanded from 3 members to 6. That led to the groundbreaking 3+3 album, their first platinum record, selling over 1 million copies. This era marked a total transformation. The Isley Brothers were no longer just vocalists, they were a self-contained band. Chris Jasper became the musical brain behind the operation. While all 6 members received songwriting credit, it was Chris, often working closely with Ernie, who built the songs from the ground up. He wrote string arrangements, conducted sessions, layered harmonies, mixed tracks, and even recorded guide vocals so Ronald Isley could follow his phrasing. His classical training gave the Isley sound a richness that no other funk or soul band had at the time. The results were historic. Album after album went platinum. Live It Up, The Heat Is On, Harvest for the World, Go for Your Guns, Showdown, Winner Takes All, Go All the Way, Grand Slam, Inside You, and of course, Between the Sheets. Songs like Fight the Power became anthems, influencing Public Enemy decades later. For the Love of You became a timeless soul classic, later reimagined by Whitney Houston. Footsteps in the Dark became immortal when Ice Cube sampled it for It Was a Good Day. Between the Sheets became one of the most sampled songs in hip-hop history. Despite all this success, problems were quietly building. Chris began to understand the business side of music, and what he discovered didn't sit right with him. Although he was writing and producing most of the music, compensation didn't reflect his contribution. Tensions grew between the older and younger members, especially over money, control, and direction. After the Between the Sheets album, everything came to a head. Financial troubles, tax issues, and disagreements over bankruptcy led to a permanent split. Chris, Ernie, and Marvin refused to file for bankruptcy and walked away. They formed their own group, Isley Jasper Isley. In 1985, they released Caravan of Love. The song became an instant classic, reaching #1 on the R&B charts. Inspired by Chris's deepening spirituality and biblical principles of peace and unity, the song transcended genre and borders. A year later, a cover version by the Housemartins topped the UK charts, turning it into a global anthem. Chris later said Caravan of Love was his favorite song he ever created, not just because it went #1, but because it carried the message he believed the world needed. Eventually, Isley Jasper Isley disbanded, and Chris began a solo career while also founding Gold City Records. Determined never to be taken advantage of again, he studied law and earned a Juris Doctorate degree. His wife became vice president and legal counsel of the label. Chris wanted artists, including himself, to finally understand contracts, copyrights, and ownership. Over the next decades, Chris released 16 solo albums, spanning R&B, funk, gospel, and socially conscious music. He focused heavily on education, spirituality, and empowerment, often visiting schools and mentoring youth. In 2022, he was finally inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, long overdue. Sadly, on February 23, 2025, Chris Jasper passed away after a battle with cancer at the age of 73. Tributes poured in across the music world. Ronald Isley called him a musical genius and a key architect of the Isley sound. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame honored him as a pioneer who reshaped soul and funk. Chris Jasper's legacy lives on in every song he touched, every sample that still echoes through modern music, and every artist inspired by his brilliance. He wasn't just part of the Isley Brothers, he was the heart, the mind, and the soul behind their greatest era. Rest in peace, Chris Jasper. Your music will live forever.